Some global hits don't start with ambition or vision. They start as jokes. Songs written quickly, half serious, sometimes just to fill space or pass time in the studio. Tracks the artists never expected to explain or carry for the rest of their careers.
I met her in a club down in Old Soho, where you drink champagne and it tastes just like Jericho.
At the time, these songs weren't treated as important. They weren't meant to define an era or shape a legacy. But once released, intention stops mattering.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man. No time to talk.
Listeners don't hear irony or exaggeration. They hear something catchy, something familiar. Radio repeats it, charts reward it, and the joke slowly becomes permanent. These are 10 songs that were never meant to matter, and somehow became global hits anyway. Number 1. Turning Japanese. The Vapors. Turning Japanese was never meant to be important. It started as a tense, sarcastic reaction to heartbreak, written by David Fenton to describe obsession, isolation, and the feeling of losing yourself after a breakup.
I got your picture of me and you.
Even the title was intentional wordplay, chosen for sound and mood rather than meaning. But once the song reached radio, the joke slipped away. Listeners didn't hear irony or emotional exaggeration.
I see them staring and there's nothing else to do. Oh, it's in color.
Rumors spread that the title hid something crude, something scandalous. The band denied it again and again, but explanation didn't matter anymore. Controversy only amplified the track. Its twitchy guitars, nervous rhythm, and anxious vocal felt different from everything else on the air.
Everyone around me is a total stranger. Everyone avoids me like a cyclone ranger. Everyone.
The song climbed charts across the UK, Australia, and North America. The Vapors never matched its success. One misunderstood joke became their legacy, proving that once a song escapes its creator, it decides its own meaning. Number 2. Short People. Randy Newman.
Short people got no reason.
Randy Newman didn't write Short People to provoke outrage. He wrote it to expose prejudice by exaggerating it until it sounded ridiculous. The lyrics were intentionally cruel, cartoonish, and over the top, built on the assumption that no one would confuse satire for sincerity.
They got little hands, little eyes.
That assumption collapsed immediately. Many listeners took the song literally. Radio stations were flooded with complaints, bans followed, and Newman found himself explaining a joke he thought needed no explanation at all. The satire wasn't debated, it was missed.
No baby legs, they stand so low. You got to pick them up just to say hello. They got.
As the backlash grew louder, the song kept rising. It reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became one of Newman's most recognizable tracks. Controversy gave it oxygen. Short People didn't fail as a joke. It succeeded too well. It revealed how easily satire collapses once it leaves the writer's control.
Don't want no short people. Don't want no short people.
Number 3. Lola. The Kinks.
I met her in a club down in Old Soho, where you drink champagne and it tastes just like Jericho.
When Lola was written, it wasn't meant to be a statement. Ray Davies treated it almost casually. A sharp, story-driven song inspired by an awkward, half-remembered encounter in a London club.
She walked up to me and she asked me to dance. I asked her her name and in a dark brown voice she said Lola.
At the time, it felt like a risky joke, not something radio would welcome. Radio proved him right at first. Stations panicked. Some banned the song for its subject matter. Others pulled it for a single lyric mentioning Coca-Cola, violating broadcasting rules. To save it, Davies re-recorded the line, turning a throwaway detail into a quiet act of defiance. Instead of disappearing, Lola spread. Listeners leaned into the ambiguity. The humor, the discomfort.
Oh, big girls, it's a mixed up, muddled up, shook up world, except my Lola.
What nearly got erased became one of the boldest hits of its era, and a conversation music couldn't avoid anymore. Number 4. Lyin Eyes? Eagles? Lyin Eyes didn't begin as a carefully planned hit. It started as a casual barroom comment, a half-joking observation about a young woman chasing comfort instead of love. At first, it felt like the kind of line musicians laugh about and forget by the next drink.
City girls just seem to find out her.
Instead, the band leaned into it. What began as a joke slowly turned into a detailed portrait of regret, self-deception, and quiet desperation. The humor faded, replaced by uncomfortable honesty. The song stopped laughing at its subject and started exposing something familiar.
A rich old man, and she won't have to worry.
That honesty is what carried it. Lyin Eyes climbed to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and won a Grammy. Listeners didn't hear a punchline. They heard real lives. A joke meant for the moment became one of the Eagles' most enduring songs, precisely because it told the truth too clearly.
You can't hide your lying eye.
Number 5. Black Betty, Ram Jam. Black Betty didn't begin as a song anyone tried to modernize carefully. It arrived already loud, repetitive, and uncomfortable. A stripped-down shout pulled from an old work chant and pushed straight into distortion.
Whoa, Black Betty, bam-a-lam. Whoa, Black Betty, bam-a-lam. Black Betty had a chat.
There was no polish, no hook strategy, no attempt to make it friendly. What made it spread wasn't melody or message, but impact. The song hit hard, stopped abruptly, and left space for people to argue about what it meant.
Black Betty, where'd you come from? Bam-a-lam. Black Betty, where'd you come from?
Some heard tradition, others heard provocation. Radio stations debated it. Critics questioned it. That friction became part of the experience. Instead of fading, the track grew louder in public spaces. Cars, arenas, soundtracks. Its roughness aged better than refinement. Black Betty didn't survive because it was explained or defended. It survived because it refused to be softened, and people kept pressing play anyway.
Bam-a-lam. Whoa, Black Betty, bam-a-lam. She really gets me high. Bam-a-lam, you know that's no lie.
Number 6. Blitzkrieg Bop, Ramones.
Let's go! Let's go!
Blitzkrieg Bop wasn't written to inspire anyone. It was written to mock something. The Ramones were reacting against bloated, overproduced rock, long solos, big egos, and crowds chanting on command. Hey Ho Let's Go was meant to sound stupid on purpose. At first, almost no one noticed. The song didn't dominate radio or charts. It lived in sweaty clubs, played fast, loud, and gone in 2 minutes. But that simplicity spread. Fans copied the chant. Bands copied the attitude. The joke became a language. Years later, it wasn't funny anymore. It was foundational. Stadiums shouted the chant unironically. Punk history was built on it. A song written to reject mass appeal ended up defining a movement that couldn't be ignored.
Hey, ho! Let's go! Hey, ho! Let's go!
Number 7. Escape, the Piña Colada song, Rupert Holmes.
I was tired of my lady.
Escape was written out of boredom, not ambition. Rupert Holmes was tired of being serious, tired of writing songs that tried too hard to mean something. So he amused himself with a small story about two people quietly trying to cheat, and accidentally choosing each other instead.
Like a worn-out recording.
Even the opening line wasn't strategic. Piña Coladas weren't a cultural statement or a marketing move. Holmes picked the phrase because it sounded slightly silly and fit the rhythm. To him, it felt like a novelty track, the kind you hide mid-album and move on from.
Like Piña Coladas and getting caught in the rain.
The audience heard something else. They heard humor, irony, and a twist that felt human. Radio embraced it. Charts followed. Escape became the final #1 song of the 1970s, turning a private joke into a career-defining hit. The very song Holmes could never escape again.
If you're not into yoga, if you have half a brain.
Number 8. My Sharona, the Knack. My Sharona makes people uncomfortable for a reason. It doesn't hide behind irony, metaphor, or distance. It's direct, obsessive, and unapologetically physical. Doug Fieger wasn't trying to write a timeless hit. He was trying to impress someone, fast. The song came together almost immediately, driven by urgency rather than thought. That urgency is exactly why it worked. There's no commentary, no lesson, no wink to the listener. Just tension, repetition, and a riff that refuses to relax. Some hear youthful energy. Others hear something more unsettling. The song invites that disagreement. When it hit radio, it didn't ask permission. It dominated. 6 weeks at #1, everywhere at once. My Sharona didn't become a hit because it was clever. It became one because it forced people to feel something and argue about what that feeling actually was. Number 9. Born to be Alive, Patrick Hernandez. Born to be Alive sounds like confidence, but it wasn't written from certainty. It leaned hard into disco's surface. Bright synths, relentless pulse, a chorus that repeats a single idea until it feels unavoidable.
Time was on my side when I was running down the street and for the bang, bang, bang.
Hernandez wasn't trying to say something profound. He was writing a moment. That's why the song split people. Some heard pure joy, almost cartoonish optimism. Others heard pressure. A command to feel good whether you want to or not. The line between celebration and parody was thin, and the song never clarified which side it stood on. It didn't need to. Dance floors chose for it. Charts followed across Europe and beyond. Hernandez never matched its reach again, but this one track froze an era in motion. Whether it's sincere or ironic is still debated, and that tension keeps it alive. Number 10. Stayin' Alive, Bee Gees. Stayin' Alive is usually remembered as confidence in motion. The walk, the groove, the attitude, but the song itself isn't about power. It's about pressure, survival, exhaustion, and moving forward because stopping isn't an option. That tension is easy to miss when everything sounds so smooth. The Bee Gees weren't trying to write a disco anthem. They were working fast, under demand, shaping songs to fit a film that needed momentum. The lyrics are tighter, darker, and more anxious than the music suggests, almost hidden beneath the beat. Once it hit the screen, the meaning flipped. Swagger replaced struggle. The song became a symbol of cool rather than endurance. Some hear celebration. Others hear desperation disguised as rhythm. That disagreement is why Stayin' Alive never settled into one interpretation and never stopped playing.
Stayin' alive, stayin' alive. Stayin' alive.
What these songs share isn't talent, planning, or even intention. It's loss of control. Each one began lightly, as a joke, a shortcut, or something not meant to last, and ended up deciding how it would be remembered. Once the audience stepped in, meaning shifted, irony collapsed, and repetition did the rest. Some artists benefited from that. Others never escaped it. That's the uncomfortable truth behind accidental hits. The moment a song leaves the studio, it no longer belongs to the person who wrote it. So which one surprised you the most? And which song do you still argue about every time it comes on? Let's talk in the comments.